In the next 60 seconds, here's what's actually happening with the Epstein files in 2026 and why the newest drop is causing both political chaos and serious privacy outrage. Last week, the U.S. Department of Justice published millions of pages of records tied to investigations and prosecutions connected to Jeffrey Epstein. After a new federal law, the Epstein Files Transparency Act set a deadline for release. The DOJ says it posted about 3.5 million responsive pages and warned the public that, because of the sheer volume, sensitive material might still slip through. But here's the part that has survivors and advocates furious. Some files appeared with personal information exposed, including victims' names and faces, and even explicit images despite redaction rules meant to protect people. The DOJ has blamed human and technical errors, started pulling and replacing problem files, and promised fixes, but critics say the damage can't be undone once it's out. At the same time, the internet is doing what it always does, hunting for the list. And multiple outlets are emphasizing a key point: many documents show contacts, calendars, emails, and references, but that is not the same as proof of criminal wrongdoing by everyone mentioned. For example, a fresh report says the files include correspondence showing Ariane de Rothschild maintained personal contact with Epstein for years. The reporting notes there is no evidence of criminal wrongdoing in those messages, but it adds her to the growing public roster of high-profile connections. Then there's the geopolitical firestorm. Donald Tusk publicly floated claims about possible Russian intelligence ties, and the Kremlin dismissed it. Again, allegations are flying, but no conclusive proof has been presented that Epstein worked for any intelligence service. So, where does this go next? Pressure is building for more transparency, tighter victim protections, and clearer answers about what's still withheld versus what's simply messy, duplicated, or unverified. Alright, next, let's talk about what's actually inside these Epstein files, because this is where misinformation spreads the fastest. First, a big chunk of these records are not new confessions or a magic master list. They're often a mix of administrative logs, property records, booking info, chain of custody notes, contact lists and calendars, names, numbers, appointments, sometimes years old. Interview summaries, what someone claimed, not automatically verified. Evidence inventories, what investigators collected, not proof of who did what. Duplicates, same file, different format, repeated attachments. So when people screenshot a random page with a famous name and scream exposed, here's the truth. A name appearing in a document can mean anything. A phone contact, an email header, a staff list, a guest mention, a third-party reference, or an investigator's lead. That's not the same thing as a charge, a conviction, or even a confirmed interaction. Now, why are people still obsessed? Because the internet wants a simple storyline. Good guys versus bad guys. But legal reality is messy. The most useful documents are usually court filings, verified testimony, documents tied to a specific case number, records cross-confirmed by multiple sources. Everything else should be treated as unverified until proven. And here's the scary part. In 2026, the biggest controversy isn't just what got released, it's how it got released. Because if victims' identities were exposed, that's not transparency. That's harm. It turns survivors into targets for harassment, conspiracy accounts, and doxing. And even if those files are pulled down later, the copies can spread forever. So moving forward, if you want to track this story like a pro, watch for 3 updates. Corrections plus re-uploads. Do they repost the files with proper redactions and explain what changed? Legal challenges. Survivors and advocacy groups may push for stricter protections, even if transparency laws exist. New court actions. If anything in the release is strong enough to trigger new investigations, you'll see movement in court, not just online threads.